Hey guys, what is happening today? I am so darn excited for the video that I got to share with you guys today, and you're probably wondering what in the heck happened to Brian. Today, the Buffalo Bills open up the season tonight at the LA Rams, and in true Bills Mafia fashion, you got to get decked out for the day when it's game day, baby. And that's what we're doing today. I'm wearing this all day long. I'm so excited for tonight. Now, you may be thinking, Brian, you live in Charlotte. How come you're not a Panthers fan? Well, I moved here from Buffalo, born and raised in Buffalo, and I moved here in 1996. And Bills Mafia will tell you, once you get the Buffalo in you, you'll never get it out of you. So, Panthers, I like you, but you're not my number one. But you know what I want to talk to you guys about today is some interesting things that are happening out there in the real estate market. I've got a really wacky report from Goldman Sachs that's saying, whoa, what in the heck is happening in 2023? And I want to show you guys some actual sales data to show you what prices are doing here over the last 4 days. I want to show you what prices were listed at, what they actually sold for, and you may be starting to see the trend that I've been talking about as the market here is starting to soften. So guys, so stick with me. We're going to get this video cranked up right now. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here and we have not met yet, my name is Brian Taylor and I'm the owner of Dreamline Realty right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. For all of you viewers that are coming back to my channel, I thank you so much for tuning back in and supporting the good things that we're doing over here at Dreamline Realty. For you first-time viewers, if you have not subscribed to the channel, I encourage you to do that now, because we are in some very interesting times and the waters are gonna get muddy as we move forward. And I wanna make sure I keep you informed every single week as I put out new videos that talk about the national real estate news and what's going on here in Charlotte. So there's not a better time than now to stay connected to the channel. So hit that subscribe button below and join our crowd. All right, guys. We're gonna have some fun today, okay? So before we get started, I want to chat with you about today. Drop in the comments below who your favorite football team is. I would love to poll the audience here and see who you pull for. So drop that in the comments below. Okay, so I already mentioned to you that there's a wacky article from Goldman Sachs that I read this morning I want to share with you. But before we get into that, I want to talk about mortgage rates. So let's jump into this article here by Mortgage News Daily and find out what they're saying about mortgage rates. And then we'll circle back to the other article in a second. But don't forget to stick to the end because I'm going to show you that real live data of what's happening here in Charlotte. Okay, so the headline reads, Mortgage app volume declines, but jobs data offers silver lining. The article goes on to say the purchase index decreased 1% on a seasonally adjusted basis and 3% before adjustment compared to the previous week. It was 23% lower than the same week in 2021. It follows to say mortgage rates moved higher over the course of last week as markets continued to reassess the prospects for the economy and the path of monetary policy, with expectations for short-term rates to move and stay higher for longer, said Mike Frantoni, Senior Mortgage Vice President and Chief Economist. With the 30-year fixed rate rising to the highest level since mid-June, application volumes for both purchase and refinance loans dropped. Recent economic data will likely prevent any significant declines in mortgage rates in the near term. But the strong job market depicted in the August data should support housing demand. There's no sign of a rebound in purchase applications yet, but the robust job market and an increase in housing inventories should lead to an eventual increase in purchase activity. So guys, right there is telling us that mortgage application volume is down 23% from last year. And as we've talked about, buyer demand in the Charlotte market has decreased significantly over the last probably 6 weeks. Now, we will have to see where this thing goes, but when mortgage rates went up about 2 months ago, that is when we started seeing the buyer demand start to fall, and we are seeing it at a more rapid rate right now. And as these mortgage rates continue to go up, we're gonna have to figure out exactly what's happening down the road. And speaking of mortgage rates, we are sitting right here today at 6.25%. Now, yesterday, I literally sat at my desk having a front row seat to a train wreck. The mortgage securities market got hammered yesterday and mortgage rates went up almost 1/4 of a point just yesterday. Now, as we sit here today, the bond market is recovering a little bit. I don't have rates out quite yet today. It's probably going to be a little bit lower than that. I would guess 6.15 is what I would have to guess at this point in time. But I want to show you this chart that came out this morning as well to say what people are predicting mortgage rates are going to do going into next year. So let's check that out now. Okay, so this chart is showing us where mortgage rates are being projected to be. We've got Fannie Mae, we've got Freddie Mac, we've got the Mortgage Bankers Association and the National Association of Realtors trying to project as we go through 2022 Q4 and then going into quarters 1, 2, and 3 of 2023. There you can see their predictions. If we go all the way over to the right-hand column, we see the average of all 4 per quarter. And this is telling us that we're going to be around that mid 5% to low 5% range going into 2023. I personally don't see that. But as I've always said, things change so darn fast. It wouldn't surprise me if we got back there. I just don't see it for me personally in my own personal opinion. So guys, drop in the comments below what you think mortgage interest rates are going to do going into the future. I would love to hear what you have to say. If you're getting any value from this video, guys, click on that like button, give me a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know I'm putting out good content and it really helps me grow my channel, and I would really appreciate that. So now, guys, I want to shift gears to that Goldman Sachs article that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. So let's check that out now. Okay, so the headlines on this one by Fox Business News says U.S. housing market downturn to worsen in 2023, Goldman Sachs warns. It says the U.S. housing market has likely tumbled into its first recession in more than a decade, and Goldman Sachs economists warn that investors should brace for the downturn to get worse. It goes on to say, we expect home price growth to stall completely, averaging 0% in 2023, the Goldman analyst led by Jan Hedzus said. While outright declines in national home prices are possible and appear quite likely for some regions, large declines seem unlikely. The analyst comes as painfully high inflation and rising borrowing costs have forced potential home buyers to pull back on spending. But even as home sales decline, prices remain high because supply is still so limited. With mortgage rates soaring and growing number of potential buyers backing out of deals and sales dropping to their lowest level in 2 years, builders have become increasingly reluctant to build new homes, keeping prices high. It says a sustained reduction in affordability and a decline in purchasing intentions, however, could lead to further weakening in home sales, thus reducing prices across the board. Higher mortgage rates and reduced affordability are not the only drag on housing, the note said. Existing home sales and building permits have fallen more sharply this year in regions where they increased the most in the earlier part of the pandemic, suggesting that the recent declines have also reflected the partial retreat of pandemic-related boost to housing demand. And the article ends with, in all, Goldman projects sharp declines this year in new home sales at 22%, existing home sales 17%, and housing GDP 8.9%. It says it projects further declines in 2023, including another 9.2% decline in housing GDP next year. So guys, this is an article that I can actually get on board with, okay? As we're seeing prices soften in Charlotte, and that's what I'm going to lead to in just a second and show you what's going on around here, I can see home sales and home prices around the Charlotte area really getting to a point where we are close to that 0% growth, right? We are starting to see prices fall. As I have always said from the beginning of time when all of this craziness started, I'm not seeing a 20% decline in home price values around the area. I'm seeing market stabilization is what I've always said. I think we're going to get to that place where we're going to start seeing that 4 to 5% price growth once we start getting ourselves out of the woods here. But getting to a zero flat price growth projection, I can totally get on board with that right around here. So what I want to show you now is what exactly is happening in Charlotte. So I went back just the past 4 days and I pulled all of the closings that happened in the Charlotte MLS and I put it into a spreadsheet, and I want to show you what the original sales price was when it was listed, what it actually closed for, and the prices of the homes that were bought at list price, how many were purchased over asking price, and how many prices were taken, or how many sales were taken under asking price. So let's check it out now. All right, guys, so there are 126 houses that closed in the Charlotte area over the last 4 days. I've gone ahead and I've sorted this out and I've color coded it. So we're starting out with the houses that took price decreases and what they actually sold for. So this column here is the original list price on the property, what it actually sold for, and the difference in closing. So for example, this one here, of course, is the whopper of the one. Originally listed for $2.295 million. It sold for $1.875. That's a price reduction of $420,000, okay? So as we make our way down through here, you'll get an idea of where things are falling from a price discount perspective. And then once we start getting into the next set of color coding, we will see the houses that actually sold for list price, which was only 17 homes. So 17 properties were listed and they sold for exactly what that price was. And then we get down here to the bottom and you are seeing the houses that sold for over asking price in this teal color. So we've got a couple that sold for 100 over asking price. And as we scroll through here, we start getting into the 14,000, 20,000. So guys, this shows us right now that if you price a house properly in a good area, there are still multiple offers in houses, as you can see right here, closing for more than list price, but it's becoming less and less common. Look at that one right there. Sold for $161,000 over asking price. But I broke this down farther, guys, into percentages. So of the 126 houses that closed, 17 or 13% sold at list price. 74 of those 126 sold for less than list price. That's 59%. And then 35 sold for more than list price at 28%. So guys, back a year ago, these numbers would have completely flipped, right? You probably would have had, and I should have gone back and pulled the numbers for 2021 for the same 4 days, but I would bet you that 90% of the houses in 2021 for that week period of time would have sold over asking price. So there you go, guys. Over 50% of the properties that sold over the last 4 days sold under asking price. So that is the proof in the pudding that home prices around here are softening, and I think that's going to continue as we move through the months ahead. So guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing that. Just click that subscribe button below and then tap on that bell for notifications so you don't miss any future videos that I put out every week. If you want to watch another video that I did where I'm talking about home buyers vanishing and the buyer demand falling, I'm going to put that one on the screen here in just a second. So guys, thanks for tuning in and go Bills. All right. And as always, guys, thanks for watching and make it a great day.